Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's StockPed, and today we're going to be covering off my favourite stock in the world, AquaBounty, ticker symbol AQB. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video like usual, and please hit the thumbs up. Actually smash that thumbs up, because it does mean a lot to the channel and it helps the channel to grow, and that's of course what I'm trying to do, is trying to keep the channel growing to give you guys more content and keep this thing alive. And we can keep discussing as a community about AquaBounty and other stocks that we might want to talk about and discuss. So before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks to all the current subscribers. It does mean a lot, and my target of hitting 100 is getting closer and closer, so I'm quite happy with that. It does take a lot of work to get these things up and running and keep the content flowing and researching a particular company, so I do appreciate the thumbs ups and the positive feedback. It does mean heaps to me, so thank you. Okay, so AquaBounty. So let's talk about AquaBounty. What has been going on with AquaBounty? Well, it seems not much. The PR's fairly quiet, apart from the offerings that they did a couple of weeks ago. We haven't really seen too much out in the PR world, and haven't really seen any developments, to be quite honest. It has been a really quiet last couple of weeks. The problem with these guys is now COVID's come around and it's kind of spoiled the party, so to speak, and set them back quite a bit with the plans that they had in place, and that's understandable. But yeah, I mean, they did an announcement last couple of weeks ago with the offering that they wanted to do. We can safely assume, I think it's pretty safe to assume, that the first harvest of their AquaBounty, which is their bioengineered one, which was meant to be due earlier on this year, isn't going to happen, or hasn't happened, and probably won't happen for a while. I don't really know what sort of timelines we're looking at, because nothing's been released from AquaBounty, so difficult to say. But we can safely say that I don't think that harvest is going to happen. I'm going to put it down to COVID-19 being the reason why, and the impact that it's had on their operations, and the fact that they, there's no point really having a harvest of tons and tons of AquaBounty salmon if you don't have the demand for it. If the market's dried up, then there's no point doing a harvest. It's just a waste of money and a waste of energy. So I think that's where the problem is, and that's what set them back, is that we just don't have a market for it, or enough market for it at the moment. So I'm going to say there is a delay in the harvest. It's most likely down to the COVID-19 situation, and we'll probably see some sort of updates once the restaurants and the industry starts to really open up again, and we start to see a demand for the salmon again. Otherwise, I don't think much is going to change. Most of the countries are kind of faced with the same situation. In the UK, all our restaurants are closed as well, so demand for seafood in restaurants is next to nothing really, so there's no point. And I assume other companies would be in the same position as AquaBounty. It won't just be them. So not really taking it to heart, and I'm not really getting too obsessed over it. I think we just have to take it as it is, and wait until this kind of until the pandemic really improves. So let's look at the stock chart. And okay, let's have a look at this chart. So what can we see? Basically what I said was going to happen over the last couple of weeks, which is we've basically consolidated around the 10 to 11.55 range. We have kind of been bouncing around that since the mid-Jan till now really. We've just been bouncing around that. Pop through the resistance of 11.55 and back down again, bouncing off the support line, which is the 10 $10 support line. We really need to push above the 11.55 range. Yeah, sorry, 11.55 price target for us to really push above that, and then we need to close above that for a few days, which I thought we kind of did around the end of January, but it seems that we've been dragged back down again into this channel, which is fine by me because it means that we can still accumulate more shares. So winner, not a problem there. RSI, if you look at the RSI below, we've still got quite a low RSI as well. It is sitting at currently 47, I think, 49, 47, around there somewhere. 49.13. So relatively speaking, that's quite low, and that is showing signs that we may see some room for growing here. So next couple of days, we'll probably see this swing back up again. Two things are going to play out. It's either going to bounce off the 11.55 resistance and come back down, or it's going to push above that and close above that. Especially if we get some good news on like COVID or something like that, it may actually go above that and close for a few days. So yeah, let's watch this space and see what happens. The other one I wanted to quickly talk about is the graph I've got here. ARK Invest. So ARK Invest, what have they been up to? ARK Invest have sold some shares. They held 8.619 million shares, and it appears that around about the 26th of January they sold a few shares there, bringing them down to 8.5 million. So they sold around about 70,000 AquaBounty shares. Yeah, if you look at the price, their closing price is what their entire share was worth. They've gone from kind of like about 105 million back down to 91 million, and then they sold some off again on the 28th, and then again some more on the 29th, and they've held that position now since the 29th and haven't moved. But I don't think they've sold that because they don't approve of the stock or they don't believe in it anymore. I think it's more of a case of taking some profits from those from that rise in value. I mean, we saw a price of $8.40 on the 1st of this, the 6th of January, and then shortly a couple of days, a week or 2 weeks after that, we were at $12.20. So naturally, they're going to want to sell some of that and take some of the profits. So that's all it is. It's just a bit of profit taking, taking some money off the table. They probably assumed that it was going to come back down again. We all do that. We all skim off, some profits and put them somewhere else. It's part of the game. They wouldn't invest into AquaBounty unless they thought they were going to make some money out of them. That's what we all do. We don't buy this stock to hold on to it for life. We buy it to hold it for 2 years or 3 years, and then we take some profits, and we may keep some and leave the rest, and we may take it all off the table. I mean, each to their own, but nothing wrong with what ARK Invest are doing, and they're still holding 8.5 million shares, which is quite a strong position. Okay, so to close this one down, the episode, I mean, I just want to leave you guys with, a bit of a thought that, I am still quite bullish on this. I have invested quite heavily into AquaBounty, and personally I have taken some earnings not long ago. I took some small earnings out of it, only because I wanted to reinvest that into something else. So I have, and I moved that into another company, which I will talk about in another episode if you guys are interested. It's a genomes company that does genetic engineering and things like that. I'll talk more about it in the next episode, but I think these guys also have huge potential. But yeah, I mean, I'm still quite bullish on AquaBounty. I think it's a great company with a great product, great idea. As I said in the past, a lot of their success will come down to if consumers are willing to accept the product being a bioengineered product, which and if restaurants are going to be willing to sell that bioengineered products in the restaurants and offer that to their customers on the menu. I'm guessing they're going to have to say, this is a bioengineered product or bioengineered fish on the menu, I'm guessing. Otherwise, it's not fair for people to go in there and eat bioengineered fish. So I'm guessing they're going to have to say something about that. But from previous studies that these guys have done themselves, research, most people, a huge percentage of people, don't take my word for it now because I can't remember the stats, but I think it was like 70% or 80%, or something like that. It was a large number of people who said that they would try it. So that's a good thing, guys. I mean, that means that the fish will sell, and that's what matters. But the problem for these guys at the moment is, half the problem for these guys is keeping the business afloat during the pandemic. You've got demand being stripped down. You've got all your fixed costs still coming in, so you still need to run the facility. You still need to pay for lighting, electricity. You still need to pay for the pumps that run the tanks. You still need to pay for the water. You still need to pay the employees. Cleaning fees and rent. All these things that come as a fixed cost. They can't get rid of that, so they're going to have to still pay for those costs. And I think operationally, that's the challenge that these guys are going to have moving forward, is how do we sustain our business in the middle of a pandemic with very low demand. Well, I can't say very low demand, but a reduced demand for the seafood that they produce for the salmon. So that, I think, is their number one public enemy at the moment, is COVID. From what I've seen, raising more funds by doing these public offerings is the way that they are challenging this. And this seems to be the solution that they've come up with, is have these public offerings over a period of time, not in one lump, and that will keep these guys afloat. So really, they're kind of falling back on the public on these public offerings to keep themselves afloat for the next couple of months, if not next 12 months. We don't know. I mean, how long is the pandemic going to go on for? No one really knows. Hopefully it's over soon, because I think we're all sick of it. But yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it. The other bit that I also picked up on is, you've got your running costs, your fixed costs, but you've also got the construction that they're currently undergoing. Well, not undergoing, but the construction of the facility that they're doing. I mean, that's a big cost. I think initially I read somewhere that the cost of the facility was meant to be between 75 to 100 million US dollars, and now that figure's actually been blown to 140 to 175 million dollars. So, I mean, you mix that cost in with the fixed cost that they're having to pay for, and the reduced demand, it doesn't put them in the best of situations, I would imagine. It does create some complications, but I'm sure they have it all figured out with these public offerings, and I'm willing to support them through that. If they need a bit of a handout, then hey ho, I'm all for it. If it's cheap enough and it's a good entry point for me, then I'm more than willing to put my money down and reap the rewards later on. Having said all of this, though, guys, you have to remember, I'm going to put a little graph here for you guys to see of the AquaBounty stock compared with the S&P 500, and you can see by looking at that the AquaBounty stock destroys the S&P by miles. I mean, you look at that and you can clearly see that even though you've owned, if you had held S&P 500 and AquaBounty, your AquaBounty stock would still outperform the S&P, and that's what you want to aim for. I mean, ARK Invest's entire aim is to outperform the S&P 500, and that's what we've done here with AquaBounties. We have outperformed the S&P 500 by a long shot, so that's really good. So we can't complain, guys. Even though we're having some problems, or AquaBounty is having some problems, we can't really complain. I mean, and their stock price is still going up, so can't complain with that either. Been really good. So anyways, AquaBounty, in a nutshell, still a winner. I've still got high conviction on them. I'm still very bullish, and I think they will continue to be a very interesting company to watch. And I'm very curious to see how this kind of pans out once the pandemic does blow over. If it falls below 10 again, $10 per share, which I think it will, or bounce off 10, I will probably buy some more this month, and keep adding to my position in AquaBounty. I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. Don't take my word for this. Please do your own due diligence and do your own homework. Get to understand what makes the price move. But yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to buy or what not to buy. I can't tell you that this is going to make you millions. It probably won't. It may do it. I mean, who knows? But anyways, do your own due diligence. Hope you've enjoyed the episode, guys. Terribly sorry about this haircut of mine. It is growing out of control with this COVID and all the barbershops in London being closed. Yeah, hope you're all staying safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Enjoy.